guys, I am Vaishali Kikar. Today in this video we are going to discuss energetics or thermochemistry. So let's start our discussion with the question number 1, part A, which is 100 centimeter cube of 1 mole per decimeter KOH solution was reacted with 100 centimeter cube of 1 mole per decimeter cube HCl. The temperature rise was 6.82 degrees Celsius. Calculate the enthalpy change of neutralization. And the part B is experiment in the part A was repeated with 50 centimeter cube of 1 mole per decimeter cube of KOH solution and 50 centimeter cube of 1 mole per decimeter cube of HCl solution. Calculate the temperature change of the reaction mixture. Right, so now here for the first part we need to find out the change of the enthalpy change of the neutralization, and for that we should know what is the heat. Right, so for heat find out we will be using the formula mc delta T. What is the mass? Mass would be 100 centimeter cube plus 100 centimeter cube, right? So now the total mass would be 200, and C is the specific heat capacity. We will be taking it to be equal to water, so it is 4.18. The temperature change is also given, that is 6.82. So Q will be equal to 5700 joule. Now I know the number of moles of KOH and the number of moles of HCl is equal to 0.1, and the number of moles of H2O formed will be equal to 0.1 only. So heat released will be equal to 5700 for 0.1 mole of H2O produced, right? For 0.1 mole of H2O, 5700 joule of heat is produced. For 1 mole of H2O, 5700 divided by 0.1 mole of heat is produced, that is 57,000 joule per mole, or the enthalpy change for neutralization will be negative because heat is released over here, that is minus 57 kilojoule per mole. Right, now coming to the next question, the part B we will be doing with a shortcut. You can do it with a full method where you can find out Q and then you can put the values over there and find out delta T, right, by putting the values in this formula. But we are now using the short trick where we know the concentration is same and the volume of HCl and KOH here is half, right? So you can see volume is half, right? So now when the volume is half, the number of moles of water formed will be half, because the number of moles is volume into the concentration. So I can say half heat for the neutralization is produced. So now from here in the question you can see Q is when half, M is half, and the C is not changing, delta T has to be same. So we require same temperature to produce half heat, right? So here delta T would be same, that is 6.82 degrees Celsius. Coming to the next question, consider the experiment in which 100 centimeter cube of water are measured out and poured into a polystyrene cup, and the temperature of water was measured. Then 5.2 gram of ammonium chloride are measured out. The ammonium chloride was added to the water and solution stirred vigorously until all ammonium chloride had dissolved. The minimum temperature was recorded. The results are: initial temperature of water was 18.3, final temperature 15.1 degrees Celsius. We need to find out the enthalpy change of ammonium chloride solution. So we will find out the temperature change of the mixture, that is minus 3.2. You can see final temperature minus initial temperature will be minus 3.2. Density of solution we are taking nearly equal to the density of water. This is an assumption over here. So 100 centimeter cube of solution will be having 100 gram of mass. That is the same assumption that we did in the previous question as well. So Q will be equal to MC delta T. Now here mass is 100, and what is C? C is 4.18. Again for the water we are taking the same specific heat capacity. For the solution 4.18 into the change in temperature, that was 3.2, that is coming out to be equal to 1340 joule. So now we have to find out NH4Cl moles. How many moles are there? Given mass upon the molar mass. Given mass is 5.2. Molar mass for NH4Cl will be 53.5. So the number of moles will be 0.0972. For 0.0972 mole, 1340 joule of energy is absorbed. Now for 1 mole, 1340 divided by 0.0972, that is the total heat absorbed for 1 mole will be 13800. Right, so joule per mole. So the enthalpy change will for the solution will be equal to plus 13.8 kilojoule per mole. Now here you can see the accepted value for delta H is 15.2 kilojoule per mole, and here we have found out 13.8. Error are there. How errors have come here in our calculations? Errors are due to the heat absorption from the surrounding, because we are now having a solution NH4Cl which is present in the surrounding. The heat is absorbed from the surrounding as well. The specific heat capacity of solution is taken directly equal to the water. So here, because we have taken it to be equal to 4.18, this is again causing an error. Mass of NH4Cl was not taken into account, right? NH4Cl does not dissolve instantaneously, right? Because instantaneously it is not dissolving, and what we have done in the question, we have done a vigorous stirring. So instantaneously all of the NH4Cl is not going to dissolve, and we have not considered the additional mass of NH4Cl, right? And if dissolved slowly, heat will be transferring out of the surrounding, temperature does not drop very large, right? So if I'm doing it as a vigorous stirring, then we have some problems that NH4Cl will not dissolve. If I dissolve it slowly, then the heat will lost to the surrounding. So now all of these problems can be compensated in the next question. Next question states the following experiment may be used to determine the enthalpy change of reaction for Zn plus CuSO4 gives ZnSO4 plus Cu. 50 centimeter cube of 0.2 mole per decimeter cube copper 2 sulfate solution are placed in polystyrene cup. The temperature was recorded every 30 seconds for 2 minutes. At 2 minutes 30 seconds, 1.2 gram of powdered zinc are added. The mixture was vigorously stirred and temperature was recorded every half minute for several minutes. The result was plotted on the given graph. Use the given data and find out the enthalpy change. So now here we don't have any simultaneously reaction. Heat is given out, but again it is lost in the surrounding. Initial rise in temperature was there, but after some time it is cooled. You can see from the graph. By now what we are doing, we are extrapolating the line backward from the cooling part to get to know what was the highest temperature, right? So temperature estimate can be done by extrapolating line backward from the cooling part. Temperature rise is greater than the temperature rise which is measured from the experiment. And how we are measuring it? With extrapolating the line. So from this graph we measured the temperature change from the graph, which is 10.3 degrees Celsius, right? You can use the readings at 2 minutes 30 seconds to find out it, and Q will be equal to MC delta T, which is equal to, now delta T we have measured, mass is given 50, C we will be taking equal to water. So 50 into 4.18 into 10.3, which is 2150. So number of moles of CuSO4 that we need to find out, that is equal to concentration into volume. Concentration is 0.2 and the volume is 50. So 50 divided by 1000, so the number of moles will be 0.01. Now 0.01 mole will be having 2150 joule of energy, and 1 mole will be having 215,000 joule per mole of energy. So the enthalpy change will be equal to minus 215 kilojoule per mole. Now coming to the Hess's law. What is the Hess's law? Hess's law is used whenever we cannot find out the enthalpy directly. The enthalpy change accompanying a chemical reaction is independent of the pathway between the initial and the final state. So if in between the two paths, right, if this is my initial state A, this is my final state B. So if I need to find out the enthalpy change between A and B, and I cannot find out directly the enthalpy change between A and B with the help of direct path, that is delta HT, I cannot find out. So it will be equal to some indirect route. We can take any other state C, and we can find out the enthalpy change from A to C, that is delta H1, and we can find out the enthalpy change from C to B, that is delta H2. So delta HT will be equal to delta H1 plus delta H2. So the enthalpy change accompanying a chemical reaction is independent of pathway, right? Either I go with the direct path or indirect route, I will be having the same enthalpy change. So delta HT is delta H1 plus delta H2. This is the Hess's law. I hope you understood all of the things. Thank you so much.